Now, one thing is for sure when it comes to the Clintons, their political machine is going to launch a relentless attack against Donald Trump. Now, we recently asked Fox News contributor, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, about how Mr. Trump can counter the coming wave of smears from the Clintons and their allies. Let's take a look. So I'm talking to Donald Trump about strategy. How do you defeat Hillary? I think on every major issue that I can think of, from energy to the economy to health care to the military, there are dramatic differences. And I think this is going to be another choice election. But doesn't Donald Trump have to frame it that way?
Yeah, look, I think two things are going to happen just because of his nature. I think it's going to be a small election, and that between two personalities, because he can't help himself and she's so vulnerable. And then it's going to be a huge election about really, really big policy differences. And I think both are going to occur simultaneously, and they're going to be mutually reinforcing. And what's going to happen is this is going to surprise you. I think you're going to see us replace red and blue states with green for Trump and orange for Hillary. And you're going to see that Trump will be competitive almost everywhere in America because the potential today, for example, when he's on your show, he's in 435 congressional districts. And the messages about corruption and decay, just if you said to every person when they go to the airport and they're really mad because they're standing in line for an unnecessary extra hour, this is the Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama failed bureaucracy with the unionized leadership that is failing America. Wouldn't you rather have a businessman run it so you can actually get through security and get in your plane? Just take that one example, and you're going to have dozens of those examples between now and the election.
You talk about the Democrats themselves. They were out at Nevada, and while there, Barbara Boxer speaking, and she's talking about Hillary, and she is being booed unmercifully. And you know, to watch that type of chaos, I know the media is focused on the Republican side, is amazing. I want you to watch this and respond.
Okay.
I present to you Senator Barbara Boxer.
Thank you so much. We need civility in the Democratic Party. Civility. Because the whole future of the country is at stake. Now, when you boo me, you're booing Bernie Sanders. Go ahead. You're booing Bernie Sanders. Bernie is my friend.
Look, I'm a natural skeptic, but when you read the exit polls in West Virginia where 40% of Bernie supporters will not go to Hillary but to Trump, and then you see such chaos in Nevada and booing at the very name of Hillary, maybe you're right. Maybe this whole map gets transformed. I'd like to see that happen.
Look, you got the same thing happening in Alaska where they were booing the national chairwoman and because she is so openly biased in favor of Hillary. And I think there's a poison in the Democratic Party system with these superdelegates in a way that nobody ever thought about back when they invented these folks. Because the superdelegates, by definition, represent an aristocracy who are layered in on top of the elected delegates. And I think you're going to see a real fight at their convention. In fact, I predict their convention will be much, much more contentious, have much more conflict, and have much more anger than anything that will happen in Cleveland. And that'll be a huge shock to the national media.
You're really saying that the Republican path to 270, where they have to thread the needle and get Florida and North Carolina and Ohio and New Hampshire and Iowa and New Mexico and Colorado and Nevada, this is all bets are off this year? You think this map will be transformed in a major way?
Look, I believe, and you heard it here for the first time, so you can keep this and play it later on the air. Just as there were once Reagan Democrats, I think they're going to be Trump Americans. And they're not going to be people who rush in and decide they're Republican the next day. But they're going to say, look, to make America great again, I'm going to be for Donald Trump. They're going to be in all 50 states. They're going to be in places you never expected. And I think we're going to have a new map, as I said. Replace red and blue, because it's the old order. Replace it with green for Trump and orange for Hillary, and you're going to have a very different map by election day.
Is there something symbolic about green and orange? Is there a particular reason you chose those two colors?
Well, green is both for the economy and because it'll drive the environmentalists crazy.
Yeah.
And we were just looking for an appropriate color for Hillary, and orange somehow seemed to fit all the different news stories recently.
Yeah, and all these exit polls that we saw in every state all say the same thing: jobs and the economy. I always say 95 million Americans out of the labor force, median income down, home ownership levels low, 50 million in poverty, 46 on food stamps, we doubled the debt. All these things are really weighing heavily on people's minds. I think that's why immigration resonated so much in this campaign. But I also think that it's that Americans feel that Washington's so broken, it just doesn't work anymore. And that it's going to take somebody to go in there and just literally start over. And transform the whole culture.
Well, I think that's right, but I want to go back to the first half of what you just said. We were visiting my mother-in-law, Bernita Bisick, in Whitehall, Wisconsin, over Mother's Day, and Callista went up to the Dollar General store. And she said to the lady in this sort of very small town, 1,400 people, she said, I hope you're having a good day. And the lady said, no, I really don't feel well. And she said, oh, well, I hope you can go home and rest after you're done here. She said, no, I have to work 2 jobs. I don't get to rest. And Callista came home and she was almost crying, and she said, when the system is broken down to a point where, partly because of Obamacare and its rules about how many hours you can work, partly because of the general decay of the economy, you end up with folks who are over and over being pushed so that they feel like they're on a treadmill with no hope. That's why Donald Trump, when he pledges to make America great again, is suddenly giving these folks a reason to believe again.
It's funny because I had a conversation earlier this week on my radio show. A guy from North Carolina was in the construction business. Well, he can't find work there, so now he's in the exterminating business temporarily while going to school at night so he can become an IT guy. That's what his life and reality is like, because things have gotten that bad, but people don't seem to talk about it.
Right, and I think that tells you how out of touch the politicians are with average Americans, and you don't get any sense of urgency in Washington, but for normal, everyday people, this is an everyday, urgent problem.
All right, Mr. Speaker, thanks for being with us as always. Appreciate it.